we have anybody that's online? If you would say your name and identify yourself, please.
This is Bob Golden.
All right, thank you. Well, you can mute your phone or your computer until the item that you would like to speak on is up. Would be appreciated to save in background noise. Is there anybody else that is online this evening? Any board members? Mike McHugh, are you here? Okay. Go ahead. You can start.
Luke Muller is on, in case you were wondering, Richard.
Okay, thanks, Luke.
Good evening and welcome to the Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. This meeting is being recorded, televised, and viewable on Swiftel Channel 19, ITC Channel 168, or the Brookings County YouTube channel. And I'll call this meeting to order. Richard, go. Nobody's on. Do we got to do a roll call vote when nobody's on? Okay. Richard, would you do a roll call attendance, please?
Yes. Mike Bartley.
Here.
Mike McHugh. Tom Davis.
Here.
Daryl Nelson.
Here.
Daryl Kleinjohn.
Here.
Kyle Vanderwall.
Here.
Terrell Spence is absent this evening. Randy Jensen. He is also absent. Roger Erickson.
Here.
Spencer Dietrich.
Here.
Chad Ford.
Here.
Thank you. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mr. Chair, we have 9 members present.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Bartley,
Second.
second by Vanderwall. Would you do a roll call vote, Richard?
Yes. Just had to get my sheet. Davis.
Aye.
Nelson.
Here.
Kleinjohn. Aye. Vanderwall.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Dietrich.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Items to be added to the agenda by commission members or staff.
Mr. Chair, I have a presentation to make.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Carol, if you'd stand up, please. This is a presentation, Certificate of Appreciation from Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission. It reads, Certificate of Appreciation is presented to Daryl Nelson on this first day of December 2020 by the Brookings County Planning and Zoning Commission in recognition of 23 years of dedicated, exceptional service. Signed by Mike Bartley, Brookings County Commission Chair. Daryl, congratulations, that's a lot of service. Thank you. Very much appreciated.
Is there anything else by?
Nothing else, sir, at this time.
Thank you. An invitation for citizens to schedule a time on the commission agenda for an item not listed. Anybody wanting to speak on this? Seeing none. Disclosure of conflicts of interest, relationship to applicants, ex parte communication.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself for the conditional use permit of 022.
022? Okay, I will have to recuse myself from conditional use permit 021.
Mr. Nelson will be recusing himself from conditional use 023 and 024.
Okay. Is there a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall. Second by Diedrich. Richard, would you read a call for vote?
Yes, Nelson. Klein John.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Dietrich.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I now call this meeting to order and would like to welcome those in attendance at tonight's meeting. The Brookings County Planning Commission is a 9-member commission whose function is to recommend approval or disapproval of land use plans, zoning ordinance, subdivision plats, and amendments thereof. The Brookings County Commission. The commission makes its recommendation based upon the adopted comprehensive plan for the physical development of the unincorporated areas of Brookings County. As a matter of policy, all motions are to be made in the positive. After a motion is moved, seconded, it is open for debate. Those supporting the motion shall in turn give their reasons. Those opposing the motion shall then offer their reasons. After everyone has been given a chance to be heard, the commission shall recommend approval or disapproval based on the testimony and information presented. A simple majority vote of a quorum of members of the Planning and Zoning Board in attendance is required to forward the recommendation. Agenda item 2020 Plat 025. Plat of Lot 1 of Brown's Addition in the southeast 1/4 of the southwest 1/4 of Section 28, Township 111 North, Range 52W of the 5th Primary Rating, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Bartley. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes. One second here. Yes, Plat 2020, Plat 025, the Walter Brown Estate is plating off 4.2 acres of an existing building site from the 40 acres that they own, and the building site consists of the residence and a detached garage. There we use the existing driveway off of 207th Street for access. And it meets the plating requirements for the 2016 comprehensive plan. This is the plat, front page of the plat, showing the boundaries, property pins. This is the beacon map showing with the plat overlay on it, coming around the backside of the building, around the perimeter of the trees here. And that's the 4.2 acres that they are deeding off from the rest of the 40 acres right here. This is the beacon map showing the full picture of it. That is all that I have.
Is the applicant here? Would they like to step forward?
The applicant is not here this evening.
Okay. We'll now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is for this? Seeing and hearing none. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is against this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call the vote?
Klein John,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Agenda item 2020 Plat 026, plat of Lot 1, Eric's Edition, Government Lot 4, Section 3, Township 112 North, Range 52W of the 5th Prime Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Who was that? Spencer? Mr. Diedrich? Second?
Second.
Second by Vanderwall.
Ready for me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Trying to get ahead of the game when I got behind. All right, Plat 2020-026, Anthony and Aaron Pirate. Lots that they own into one lot will be a total of 11,435 square feet. The lot is non-lakefront and is located on the South Lake Drive across from their lakeside lot that they own. The lot does not meet the 20,000 square foot requirement for a residence, but it can be used for storage and accessory buildings, and it does meet the comprehensive plan requirements. This is the plat here showing one large lot. This is Lot B and Lot C that it was previously of Waikiki Beach. It was originally platted. This is the beacon map showing the two lots combined into one with the red outline. And reason being, they're going to build an accessory building kind of right in the center of the lot, so they did not want to build over the center property lines of the two lots. So this is just the beacon map showing the same thing. This is their lakeside lot right over here. So, and that's all that I have.
Thank you. Is the applicant here? Would they like to come forward?
The applicant is not here this evening.
Okay. We'll now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is for this? Seeing none, is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is against this? Seeing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none. Richard, would you call a vote?
Yes, Vanderwall,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Klein John,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Moving on, agenda item 2020 Plat 027, plat of Lot 1 Thompson Edition in the east 1/2 of the northwest 1/4 of the west half of the northeast 1/4 of Section 25, Township 111 North, Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Davis,
Second.
second by Kleinjohn. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 2020 Plat 027, Robert Thompson is planting off 63 acres of pasture and cropland from the 160 acres that he owns. And the plat does contain a 20-foot access easement, as it does not lay near the road. The access easement is on the west half of the balance of his property up there, which I'll go over in just a minute on the plat. And it does meet the platting requirements of the 2016 comprehensive plan. This is the plat on page 1. Lot 1, this is the part that they are surveying or platted off, the 63 acres. The 20-foot access easement is right here along this property line. It's the west 80, the 280s in the center, and then the east 80 over here. So the quarter's in the center of two quarters on this particular piece. So, and here is the beacon map showing the red platted area that they are selling off with the access easement going right here along the west property line. And here's just the center quarter of that. Here's the west 80 and the east 80 and the 160 acre between the northwest and the northeast quarter. So that's where it's situated in there. Kind of a unique situation there. So, and that's all that I have.
Thank you. Is the applicant here to come forward for the,
The
Board
applicant is not here this evening.
okay. We'll now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is against this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call a vote?
Yes, Erickson,
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
and Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Agenda item 2020 Plat 028. Plat of Lot 1 of Cook Addition in the northwest 1/4 of Section 24, Township 111 North, Range 51W of the 5th by Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Bartley. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 2020 Plat 028, the Cook Family Revocable Living Trust is purchasing additional footage from the adjoining property owner, owned by Terry and Tracy Cunningham. And Lot 1 will contain 4.1 acres, which is 0.4 of an acre is public right-of-way. The building site is approximately 3.3 acres and consists of the residence, a detached garage, a pole shed, a silo, and other outbuildings. And they will continue to use the existing driveway on 465th Avenue for access. And it does meet the platting requirements of the 2016 comprehensive plan. This is the plat on page 1. This is what they currently own right here. This is the extra little parcel that they are buying from the adjoining landowner. For that, I'll show you a little better area on the beacon map. It's this triangle right here, the additional property that they are purchasing. Here is the beacon map showing the existing building site. Little triangle piece right here. It's following that, there's irrigation on this quarter right here, and it's following the irrigation track is basically what that line is following, being it's on a curvature there like that. There's the irrigator right there. This is the beacon map. And just shows the curvature of the wheel line. So, and that's all that I have. And the applicant is not here this evening.
Okay. That being said, I'll now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is for this? Seeing and hearing none. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is against this? Seeing and hearing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call for a vote?
Dietrich.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Kleinjohn.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Agenda item 2020 Plat 029. Plat of lots 1 and 2 of Lorenzen Addition in the southwest 1/4 of Section 1, Township 109 North, Range 48W of the 5th by Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Diedrich,
Second.
second by Davis. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 2020 Plat 029, the Norbert Lorenzen Estate is planning off Lot 1, which contains 76.9 acres of farmland. And Lot 2 contains 73.1 acres of pasture land that they own. Lot 1 will have access off 215th Street, and Lot 2 will have access off 483rd Avenue. Both are Parnell Township roads, And the building site has already been sold and deeded off with a separate legal description. And it does meet the 2016 comprehensive plan requirements. This here is the page of the plat showing this is lot 1 and lot 2. Dotted line is from a previous plat that will be vacated with the filing of this plat. I'll show you that in just a minute here. Here's the beacon map with the plat overlay. Lot 1 and lot 2. This triangle shaped has been purchased by the Lorenzen estate. It was owned by the state of South Dakota and it was purchased this past year. And it's not reflective on the map at this time. And this is also the same property. This little Plat B right here was platted and it's not removed from the map. But those will be free and clear and they will be in lot 1 and lot 2. So the property lines will follow the red division line right here. So, and this is the building site that has already been sold with its own separate legal description. So, and here's just the bigger picture of the beacon map. So, and the owner is not here this evening.
Alrighty. We will then open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is for this? Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is against this? Seeing and hearing none, we will close the public portion of the hearing. Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing and hearing none, Richard, would you call a vote?
Bartley.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Klein John.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Dietrich.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Easy. We will now convene as the Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment is a 9-member board which has the power to hear requests for variances, conditional use, and appeals from non-ministerial decisions of the zoning office. The concurring vote of 2/3 of the full board of membership of the board, 6 votes, is necessary for approval of a variance or an appeal of the zoning officer. The concurring vote of a simple majority of those board members present and voting is necessary for approval of a conditional use permit. In accordance with Robert's Rules of Orders, we require a motion to approve a request before the request can be debated. As a matter of policy, all motions are to be made in the positive. The board, under specific powers granted to it by the state, shall authorize variances from zoning requirements where special conditions existing on the land will result in unnecessary hardship for the applicant. Financial disadvantage to the property owner shall not constitute proof of an unnecessary hardship. Agenda item 2020 CU 021. Jason Voss has made an application 2020 CU 021 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for conditional use Article 11, Section 11.01A, Agricultural District Conditional Use Number 26. The County Zoning Commission may permit other uses which, in its opinion, are not detrimental to the other uses and are in the general character of the agricultural district. The property is A, except Lot P thereof, and except Lot H1 thereof in the east half of the southeast 1/4 of Section 13, Township 110 North, Range 51W, Brookings Township, located at 46564 U.S. Highway 14, Brookings County, South Dakota 57006. I will now recuse myself from this.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Vanderwall?
Motion by Vanderwall, second by Bartley. Yes, conditional use 2020 CU 021. Jason Voss has applied for conditional use number 26. The county zoning commission may permit other uses which, in its opinion, are not detrimental to other uses and are in general character of the agricultural district for an event center with lodging and a campground. The location is the former Midway Camp along the Big Sioux River east of Volga. The Midway Park was the original name of the facility, and it opened on July 4th, 1927, has been hosting events over the years since that time. In 1945, the building site was purchased by the Church of God and was used as a church camp until May of 2003. It was then purchased by TB Partner LLC, and they have continued to host events there. They received a liquor license from Brookings County on May 8th, 2020, and a malt beverage and South Dakota wine license on July 15th, 2020. With the addition of the liquor and malt beverage and South Dakota wine license, they would like to expand the type of events they host and add a campground. They are proposing to host wedding receptions, family gatherings, business meetings and events, youth activities to include camping, hunting, fishing, trapping and dog training seminars, hunter safety courses, camping sites and lodging, a 3D archery range, bait and tackle shop, bar and grill. The property consists of 15 acres, which includes a 40 by 80 dining hall, second-story lodging area with an attached 50 by 100 event center, a 30 by 54 pole storage shed, which will be used for storage in a future site of the bait shop, office, and laundry, a 12 by 16 cabin, a 16 by 24 cement bathhouse, also be used as a storm shelter, a 26 by 62 dormitory to be used for a future 5-bedroom lodging house. And their business plan site plan shows 90 parking spots with an additional 50 spots around the building. The maximum number of guests for the dining area would be 228, 51 in the kitchen. The event hall would be 714. The hours of operation would be Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m., with the event center closing at 1:30 a.m., 36 camping sites east of the driveway, along the river and extending to the north and west side of the property. A 24-foot fire lane in front of and around the main building and the event center. There is an additional driveway exit on the west side of the property for emergency exit only. And there's a location of the storm shelter, which would be the bathroom and shower house. They will need to apply for a campground and lodging house license from the South Dakota Department of Health with a copy to be filed with the Development Office. And a septic system designed for the campground will need to be approved by the South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources. The property is located in the floodplain and in the Zone B of the Aquifer's Material Map. Any future building on the property will need to be built to Brookings County Flood Damage Prevention Ordinance requirements. And the bar and grill and the event center are currently open, and the proposed camping site, lodging, bait shop, and laundry will be added in the future. The zoning office has reviewed the above documents and has made a site visit to the proposed location. Public notices were published in the Brookings Register on November 17th and 24th, 2020, and in the Volga Tribune on November 19th and 26th, 2020. The letters were sent to the adjoining landowners, the South Dakota Department of Transportation, and the Volga Township. It should be Brookings Township Chairman and Clerk. This is their conditional use application. This is kind of their hours of operation, their business plan, stating what they intend to do. This is a little more going over some of the buildings and their size and capacities and parking areas. This is their site plan here, showing the dining hall, the event center. This is the pole shed that would have the bait shop and the laundry and possible office. This is the two the mother's cabin or mother-in-law's cabin here that they stated, the storm shelter bathhouse here, and this is a future 5-bedroom dormitory that would be converted for future lodging. This is just their site plan showing the campground. This is the driveway coming up here. This is the parking for the venue around. This is the event center right here. This is camping spots 1 through 12, I believe it is, along the west side of the river here, coming across, going to the east, back up around the property border along here to the north and northwest. This is the storm shelter and fire lane around here. Additional camping spots along the north and west edge here. This would be the emergency exit for emergency only in case catastrophe or fire and the main driveway was busy or blocked, and people could exit out this other driveway on through the neighboring property, which they have an agreement with the landowner for that. This is just kind of their business plan, safety plan for that. The manager's on duty most of the time there to, if anybody has questions or emergencies come up. It's just some history of the Midway camp that they have at their facility, showing the history when it was opened and some of the events that happened there in the past. Materials map, which is yellow. On the yellow, it's kind of hard to see, but the yellow area is the Zone B, the Aquifer Protection Zone. This is their property right here. Kind of borders the river, come back around in this area right here. This is the flood map. The entire property is located in the flood zone, so any building or any future improvements will need to meet the Brookings County Floodplain Development Permit requirements. Elevations of 1 foot above the base flood elevation and different items like that. This just shows the beacon map without the floodplain and the aquifer protection layers on there. This is some of the photos. This is looking west on Highway 14, looking down the driveway for that. This is looking towards the east from the driveway. Looking across the median here to access the eastbound lane. This is the westbound lane of Highway 14. Just showing the driveway going north. Get down the driveway a little ways. This is the east side where the proposed parking pads or camping pads are, excuse me. And on the west side of the driveway, this is the parking area. This is getting up more in the building site towards the east where the campgrounds or the campsites wrap around to the east by the river, which would be in this area right here. This is that storage building, future laundromat, bait shop, which also is at this building right here. Off to the east side, this is the main dining hall. Picture looking at it toward the northwest, the dining hall and the event center right here. This is looking the inside of the dining hall, big spacious area there. This is the link between the dining hall right here is the inside of this picture. Restrooms right here, 2 doors going into the event center. Right here is the bar or the location of that. It was the day after Halloween. I maybe should have picked a better day to go out and take pictures, but this is the main center of the event center right here. 2 big doors on the south for exits on the south side, exit door on the west side, fire extinguisher there. I would say maybe more than that between this and that wall of curtains that was out there, and that was on about 10 or 12 feet on each side of the curtains. So this is looking towards the north end, the stage area, portable stage. Another big door towards the north end if ventilation and or if emergency exit needed to be done. And there is 2 walk-in doors on either side of this also that could be opened up if need be. This is back in that link in the dining room area going to the upstairs to the dormitories that are situated above the dining hall. This is the south side of the dining hall where the dormitories are upstairs. This is the north side. There's just 2 other bedrooms rooms upstairs that were provided for sleeping on the west side. This just shows the kitchen area, emergency exits on the dining hall for the upstairs and the dormitory sleeping areas. This is the east and sides for the proposed camping along in this area. This This is just looking off towards the northwest, the north and western proposed camping spots. This is the bathhouse storm shelter, which is directly north of the main building. This is the future lodging house they want to renovate, and that is there now. It was a dormitory. This is just off to the north, some more pictures of the proposed camping area here also. And the clearing here in the trees is the emergency exit for emergency use only for the occupants or visitors to the camp to exit out through the neighbor's property onto Highway 14. This is on the west side of the event center. Just shows additional parking in this area. So, and that's been long enough, and that's all that I have.
Could you come up and state your name?
Jason Voss.
Do we have any questions from the board?
So is the camping allowed long-term, you know, like for workers that might come to work on a wind tower project, or is it just like for weekend camping, or do you have a maximum stay limit?
Oh, I guess as far as the long-term camping, we haven't really decided as far as a length of stay, but we would provide like a lengthy stay, yes, for a construction worker type person
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Any other questions? And then we will open the public part of the hearing. And we'll remind that there's 5 minutes per person to testify. Are there any proponents? Hearing none, any opponents? You know of anybody on the phone?
Is there anybody on the phone that would like to speak for this conditional use for Jason Voss? I don't believe there's anybody on the phone at this time.
At this time, we'll close the public hearing. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I just wish you the best of luck, Jason. It's good to see some use out of that property today that might benefit the community, especially with some of the extended camping opportunities. We sadly need that in this area for the construction projects that go on. So, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Can you read the findings of the facts, Richard?
Yes. I'll read through the first one, and then the second ones I will just highlight the highlighted areas and save some time here in the future findings of fact. So, Brookings County Zoning Conditional Use Permit 2020 CU 021, an application for a conditional use permit having been filed with the Brookings County Zoning Commission, acting as the Brookings County Board of Adjustment. A copy of the application be attached here too. Such application being made by Jason Voss regarding the following real property: Outlot A, except lot P1 thereof, and except lot H1 thereof, and in the east half of the southeast 1/4 of section 13, Township 110 North, Range 51 West, Brookings Township, located at 46564 U.S. Highway 14, Brookings, South Dakota, 57006. After due notice of public hearing having been held on the application on this first day of December 2020. Number one, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment hereby finding that it is empowered to grant such a conditional use under the following sections of the Brookings County Zoning Ordinance. Brookings County Zoning Ordinance, Article 11, Section 11.01, A, Agricultural District, Conditional Use Number 26. The County Zoning Commission may permit other uses which, in its opinion, are not detrimental to other uses and are in general character of the agricultural district. Further finding that the granting of the conditional use will not adversely affect the public interest. Number two, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further certifies that the following specific rules governing the conditional use requested have been complied with. None stated. Number 3, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finds that satisfactory provisions and arrangements have been made concerning the following where applicable. A, entrance and exit to the property and proposed structure thereon with particular reference to automotive and pedestrian safety and convenience, traffic flow, control, and access in case of fire or catastrophe. Entrance and exit will use the existing driveway off US Highway 14. Maintain a 24-foot fire lane for access to the event center in case of an emergency. Secondary exit to be available at all times. Secondary emergency exit, to be available at all times. B, off-street parking and loading areas were required with particular attention to the items in A above and economic, noise, glare, or other effects of the special exception on adjoining property. No on-street parking allowed, and use on-site parking, meaning no parking out in the median or the ditch on Highway 14. C, utilities, refuge, and service areas with reference to locations, availability, and compatibility. Must use a trash service. D, screening and buffering with reference to type, dimensions, and character. None stated. E, signs if any and proposed exterior lightings with reference to glare, traffic safety, economic effect, compatibility, and harmony with properties in the district. 32 square foot sign allowed. Install a stop sign at the end of the driveway for participants leaving the driveway. They stop before they enter onto US Highway 14. F, required yards and other open spaces. None stated. G, general compatibility with adjacent properties and other property in the district. The comprehensive plan requirements met for the agricultural district. H, roads providing access to the property are adequate to meet the transportation demands of the proposed conditional use. The Board of Adjustment may require the applicant to enter into a written contract with any affected township or other governmental unit regarding the upgrading and continued maintenance of any roads used for the conditional use requested prior to the issuance of the conditional use. Road agreement with townships is not required as the entrance and exit will be off US Highway 14. I, any required notifications of law enforcement or fire department. Events with an attendance of 250 or more, the applicant will need to notify the Brookings County Sheriff's Office 24 hours in advance of the event being held. And that's our standard. That's what we've listed on all our other event centers that we've permitted here in the county, so that you may use that or make variations of that as you may wish of anything when we get done here. So, J, any safety inspections required. Any inspections required by the South Dakota regulatory agencies for lodging, camping, and on-site food service, which would be South Dakota Department of Health or any other agencies that require or license those services that you will be providing. Number 4, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further determines and conditions this conditional use upon the following additional special conditions or safeguards. A, South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources approved design and capacity requirements for the septic system or holding tanks located in the floodplain. B, existing well water must be tested and meet South Dakota regulatory agencies, which may include the South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources, SD, DENR, abbreviated, South Dakota Department of Health, and any other South Dakota regulatory agencies for drinking water. Requirements and standards for must be tested and meet those requirements for standards for drinking water. If the existing well cannot meet the South Dakota regulatory agency's requirement, the well cannot be used for drinking water. If the well is not used, it will need to be capped to SD, DENR requirements, and a new water source will need to be secured, meeting the South Dakota regulatory agency's requirements. C, the South Dakota Department of Health license and any required inspections for food prepared and served on site. D, the South Dakota Department of Health license and any required inspections for lodging of overnight guests and campground. E, adequate number of restroom facilities and trash receptacles for people attending events. F, any sale or consumption of alcoholic beverages must be in compliance with all local ordinances and laws. G, events to be held in the event center at designated areas on the site plan may include wedding receptions, family reunions, family gatherings, groups, business meetings, events, overnight lodging of guests, outdoor camping sites to include an on-site laundry, bathroom and shower facility, bar and grill, outside archery range, and a bait and tackle shop. Any other use prohibited without proper permits. H, the outdoor archery range to be designed using National Rifle Association, NRA, Range Source Handbook as a guideline. I, maximum attendance of 500 at any one time per event. Events with attendance of 250 or more. The applicant will need to notify the Brookings County Sheriff's Office 24 hours in advance of the event. That is also going back to our standards that we've allowed on other event centers in the county that have been permitted. J, if the applicant discontinues the operation or if the property is sold to a new owner or new applicant, the new applicant will need to apply for conditional use for event center to continue the operation. Brookings County Board of Adjustment, by at least 2/3 vote of its full membership, hereby grants the above petitioner a conditional use permit for the above described property as follows. Brookings County Zoning Ordinance, Article 11, Section 11.01, A, Agricultural District, Conditional Use Number 26. Events limited to host events, limited items listed in 4G above. This conditional use permit is specifically conditioned upon initial and continuing compliance with all the requirements and conditions in 3 and 4 above, upon compliance with all applicable provisions of the Brookings County Zoning Ordinance. The Brookings County Zoning Director is and is not authorized to issue any required building permits for the construction consistent with the requirements of this conditional use. This conditional use permit is not used within 3 years of the date granted. It shall be invalid. Dated this first day of December, 2020.
Any further questions or comments from the board?
What about the storm shelter of the number of people it'll hold?
I don't know what the maximum size would be for that. They could use that for that, and they could also get precast storm shelters that go above ground that are made by a cement facility for those, for additional ones around the campground if they would like. So
I was just concerned that if you have up to 500 people, it would take quite a storm shelter.
yeah, that would be. There's a lot of areas that I don't think we'd require them to have a storm shelter for 500. It'd be like having one out there at the Swiftel Center for everybody that's there during a storm event. But they could set a few smaller ones around for the campsite if you would like that.
Any other questions? Guess if not, we're ready to call the vote.
Davis,
Aye.
Nelson,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Dietrich,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
and Kleinjohn.
Aye.
Motion passes. There's another one there too.
Moving on, agenda item 2020 CU 022, Bose Construction Incorporated by Jason Bose has made an application 2020 CU 022 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for conditional use for an asphalt mixing plant Brookings Joint Jurisdiction Area, Article 4, Agricultural, Residential, and Floodplain and Aquifer Districts, Section 405A, Agricultural District, Section 408, Special Exception Number 5, Rock Crushers, Concrete, and Asphalt Mixing Plants, and Brookings County Zoning Ordinance, Article 11, Section 11.01A, Agricultural District, Conditional Use Permit 5C, Asphalt Mixing Plant. The property is described as the northwest 1/4 of the southwest 1/4, excluding Lot H1 in Section 5, Township 109 North, Range 49W, Trenton Township. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall,
Second.
second by Bartley. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes. (2020) CU 022 Bose, 2915 22nd Avenue, Brookings, has applied for conditional use permit for a asphalt mixing plant located in the Brookings Joint Jurisdictional Area, which is under Article 4, Agricultural, Residential, and Floodplain and Aquifer Section Districts, Section 405A, Agricultural District, Section 408, Special Exception .5, which includes rock crushers, concrete, and asphalt mixing plant. But he's only applying for the asphalt mixing plant. And Brookings County Zoning Ordinance, Article 11, Section 11.01A, Agricultural District, Conditional Use Number 5C, Asphalt Mixing Plant. The applicant has a current asphalt plant on the southeast side of Brookings located at 3025 22nd Avenue. And they're proposing to relocate and install a new mixing plant on a 15-acre site located in the northwest 40 acres of 149 acres, 59 acres that they own in the southwest quarter of Section 5, Township 109 North, Range 49 West. The road access will be off 34th Avenue, which is also known as Brookings County Highway 21 and/or 473rd Avenue. The attached site plan shows berms located on the west side along the highway and the north side along the property line. And the berms will be seeded down and trees will be planted on top of those, on the top of the berms. There will be two driveways, one for an entrance and one for an exit. The asphalt mixing plant, fuel storage, oil tanks, and control building and aggregate storage will be located on approximately 8 acres. The site will have 1 foot of engineered fill and 6 inches of base course hauled in to provide protection, a barrier to the aquifer. The proposed site is over Zone B of the first occurrence of aquifer materials map for Brookings County, and the proposed site plan does meet the performance standards of the Brookings County Aquifer Protection Ordinance with elevation and secondary containment of the petroleum products. The new asphalt plant will use natural gas for heat to process the asphalt. On the east and the south sides of the proposed site are located in the floodplain, as noted in the beacon map, and those areas will be used for aggregate storage. The main portion of the location is not located in the floodplain. I will show you that on the beacon map in just a second. The site will incorporate 18-inch concrete piping to allow for snow melt and surface water received onto the site and divert it that way. Applicant will need to secure any required permits from the South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources for the operation of the asphalt mixing plant, U.S. Fish and Wildlife for wetlands, and Environmental Protection Agency if any are needed. The proposed plans were reviewed by East Dakota Water District, and they had, if they all proposed as they said, they had no objections or comments on the proposed site or the what they had proposed for the area. Letters were sent to the adjoining landowners, the Trenton Township Chairman and Clerk, the Brookings County Highway Department, and South Dakota Department of Transportation. And public notices were published in the Brookings Register on November 17th and 24th of 2020. Here is the applicant's front page of the conditional use application. Just kind of their business plan, going over the history and what they plan to do here. This is their site plan showing the entrance here and the exit horseshoe around. Berms located here 100 feet back from the right-of-way on there. Same with berms on the north, 60 feet from the property line, 100 feet from 34th Avenue. Fuel storage here, the new plant, asphalt mixing plant, oil storage tanks there, control building center for that, aggregate storage around the outside here. The red lines are the drainage pipes, the 18-inch pipes that they were talking about to direct some of the discharge, the drainage here off to the southeast part of the property there. These are the berms, trees planted on top and seeded down on there. Just Fish and Wildlife Wetlands map, the yellow and greenish areas that they're in the process of mitigating those with U.S. Fish and Wildlife property on there. This is the beacon map showing the yellow area, showing the Zone B of the aquifer protection area for that. This is a beacon map showing the floodplain, the red areas here. This area right here is not in the floodplain. You can see the east little bit corner, northeast corner coming down here, this little bit of property right here. Maybe about a third or less is in the floodplain right there. Subject to this. My line is not to scale, so it could be off a ways, so. And this just is the beacon map without the floodplain on there, showing that the proposed area, the dark areas on here would be the wetlands that they were, as shown on the wetlands inventory map. This is from the driveway at the quarter lines there, section lines, quarter lines, looking north on 34th Avenue. This would be just looking towards the southeast, towards their proposed site. They've got seeded down right here on from 34th Avenue. This is looking south from the driveway. Clear vision both directions there, and seeded down. And this is looking down, a couple 100 feet, 300 feet from the driveway, looking back towards the east, looking in the seeded down area that they have there. And that is all that I have at this time.
Thank you. Would you please clearly state your name?
Yeah, excuse me, Jason Bose with Bose Construction. We are, I want to just say that, you know, we're excited about this, this project. We're excited about the new interchange that is coming in, which is providing reliable transportation back and forth there, which is allowing this to, allowing us to proceed with this. Our asphalt plant that we currently run is got some age to it, and we've been, you know, we've had in the back of our minds that when we got some transportation that we could rely on there, that we could move forward with some plans on a upgraded facility that is state-of-the-art. Want to make sure that it blends in with all the use of the area around there and meets all the environmental needs. Since we've put in this application, Banners has been working on the delineation for that, and they've for the wetlands, and they've come out with a report that they have sent. They have sent it to the Corps of Engineers, and so we're waiting the review there. But in their report, they say it's unlikely that it's jurisdictional for the Corps of Engineers. So, due to their research, they believe that it's non-jurisdictional. So, yeah, you know, the traffic flows over there. That is that road was built in 2015 for heavy truck standards. There are no seasonal load limitations on that road, and you know, we picked the highest spot over there so that when trucks are entering on and off that roadway, we have full visibility both directions. You know, we want to make sure that safety is utmost importance there. And that, you know, again, that interchange, we're excited to utilize that interchange that is coming. And we want to, our plan is to look at 21 next season to work on the earthwork and the site work there. Then 22, 23 have the plant up about the time the interchange comes open. So, any questions?
I'll just get into one that was brought to my attention today and I see if you could go back, Richard, to the drainage plan on the property. We all know the 34th goes underwater out there when it's a flooding situation. And my question is the berm that you're going to put up on the be the west side of the property, east side of 34th, would be a little bit higher. Well, it would be higher than the road because I think the property there is about even with the road height. Is that a possibility to trap water? In other words, your drain plant, I hadn't noticed what it was before. That will take all the snow and rain runoff on the site, on the east side of the berm, out a different direction. Is that correct? So I'm looking at the map.
Well, I will say that this is preliminary.
Okay.
We have worked with banners initially, but we have not done a full-blown plan. And, you know, once we get our permit and we know we can proceed, we will go into more depth. But we will make sure that that road does not flood. We will, if we have to put a ditch in there or something or
Some
something.
kind of a detention pond possibly
Well,
somewhere on the
whatever,
other side of
you
the
know,
berm or something.
I'll defer to the professionals when we get to that point, that we'll make sure that the road does not flood. That's the highest spot everywhere right there. And, you know, down on, I think we have fixed the problem on private property with the flooding issues that you refer to. But that's another issue. We do not want this road to flood or impact anybody in any way. So we will study that further and make sure that that is all taken care of.
Okay. Just want to make sure that we don't
Dam it
Take
up,
a different-
absolutely.
different water
Absolutely.
with that
There is a big fiber. There's a big fiber that runs along that property line.
Right.
And that's a real problem with the ditch. When that road was constructed, and there is a flat spot up on top there, you know, which would be just to the south of this location, right in the ditch, and it's in the county right away. There's a flat spot because there's a big fiber, and nobody could move that fiber when that road was constructed. But on our property, we can put a ditch to make sure that that gets around and it all goes where it's supposed to.
flows the other direction instead of towards the road. Or, I mean,
Right.
there really isn't a ditch there.
I'm sorry?
It's not really even a ditch there right now.
Well, no, it's
pretty much
not,
flat.
and that was a lot of the discussion, but they couldn't, you know, nobody would dig near that main fiber that feeds Fargo. It's a huge fiber there, so it was a big issue.
That was my understanding. So at this particular point in time, if we grant the permit, we trust that you'll move ahead with those plans for drainage to go that direction.
Yeah, we're
Without-
not,
I don't know how we require without a plan.
sure.
I know Brian had some questions. Brian, any comments at this point, or were county's happy as long as we get the drainage on the property? Okay. I asked his questions.
Sure. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you.
Any other questions from members of the board at this time?
What's involved in getting your gas line down into there with the water level and the water table the way it is?
The gas line, we've talked to Northwestern Public Service, and there is a main gas line on 20th Street, and there's a main valve right out by the interstate on 20th Street right now. So they would have to bring they talked about a 4-inch steel line from somewhere on that line. I don't know if they'd have to go clear down to the interstate or if they could tap on at the interchange, but or the 20th Street and 34th, but they would bring us gas down that ditch, somewheres along there.
Probably lots of boring involved.
There would be some. It's initial contact until we have all our ducks in a row. We haven't pursued give anybody go ahead to start planning anything. So, but they have assured us they'd work with us, and and give us some preliminary numbers to take care of that. Anything else?
Seeing no more questions from the board here at the moment, you can return to your seat and we'll open the public portion of the hearing quick. Is there any members of the audience or on the phone that is for this, that would like to speak? Hearing none. Is there any members of the audience or on the phone that is against this that would like to speak? Please come forward, sit down, state your full name clearly.
Michael Golden. I'm just going to paraphrase a letter that we prepared, hopefully take up less of your time here. We are writing this letter in opposition to Bose Construction's request for a conditional use permit to move their asphalt plant closer to our property. This letter represents the opinion of Dorothy Golden, owner of the adjacent property to the west of the proposed location, and those of her 5 children that will eventually own this property. When Dorothy and her late husband Howard quit farming and started digging the pond directly across the road from the proposed site, it was their vision to eventually develop the land around the pond. The goal was to increase the value of this land to pass along as a legacy to their children. To this end, they worked with the SDSU Civil Engineering Department to develop plans, including plat layouts, cost estimates for developing the property. Currently, the Golden extended family of 30 plus get great enjoyment out of fishing and boating recreation around the pond. We consider it our backyard at the farm. Our concern is that the long-term plan of developing and enjoying the property will be hurt by this proposal. A study published by the Health and Human Services in 2016 showed that property values within half mile of an asphalt plant dropped an average of 11%. The study was conducted across 5 states, including more than 30,000 properties. Another study done by Blue Ridge Environmental showed residential property values dropped by as much as 56% when construction within 3,000 feet of existing property. The study was based on devaluation of property tax assessments directly related to proximity to the plant, with the largest devaluation being directly across from the plant. In addition, the application states the site is designed to provide aesthetic value to the community. Using the current asphalt site as an example, we don't think this would add any aesthetic value to a residential development. The application does not include information about lighting. Lighting needed to secure an 8-acre site could create significant light pollution, also lowering the residential value of our property. The only mitigation being offered is the 6-foot berm at certain parts of the site. It is unlikely a 6-foot berm would obscure any vehicles or plant equipment. Without a significant barrier such as mature trees, the value of our property would be negatively impacted. When Lyle Bose started mining the property 20 years ago, he worked with our parents toward the goal of developing the property. With the mining phase just being completed, we continue to work toward the next phases that will help us realize that plan. You can easily see how having an asphalt plant across the road from our proposed development would make it hard to sell residential plats. If the application is approved, the proposed plant could effectively put an end to those plans. In closing, we submit that Bose Construction has the option of staying at the current site or utilizing another better suited property and continue to operate their business. We, on the other hand, do not have the option of moving our property without significant financial loss. Thanks for your consideration on this. I also have a letter that I'd like to submit.
Is there anybody else in the audience or on the phone that is against this? Please state your full name clearly, and I forgot to mention, you're limited to 5 minutes of time.
Thank you. My name is Ron Golden. I am the youngest son of the 5 siblings my brother was talking about. I'm today I'm going to address the concerns and questions we have as far as the letter that was submitted with the application from Bose Construction. The first comment within that letter states that it's going to be a new facility. My question is, what's going to be new on this facility? Doesn't give us any guidelines of what they actually are going to be approving. Is it going to be improvements that are going to be less of an impact on our property? Is it going to have new boilers? Is it going to have new scrubbers? Something that would eliminate the smell and odor of a typical asphalt plant? None of these questions were answered within that letter or information provided. In my eyes, all the improvements are going to be to the benefit of the applicant and not the public in the whole. Another comment within there says commitment to protect the community. This is our family farm. We are part of the community, and we will continue to be part of the community for years to come, with our family growing and everyone wanting to come back there. In fact, me, as I retire from East River Electric, where I work, I plan on coming back to this area, building a home on that pond, and retiring in this area. And with the kids, my kids, our grandkids, they all want to come to the farm. It's a place for us to enjoy our time. Richard, if I could have that overhead, I don't know where I need to put it. That's right in front of me. It makes it a lot easier. As you can see, and bear with me with the quality of these pictures, I was not able to generate anything that was much better, but this is the proposed site. The property owned by the Goldens is off to the left side or to the west on this picture. Our best guess would be that this plant would be 250 feet from our property. And as you can tell from this floodplain zone map, the area in blue would be the area that we would have prime development area along our pond that we have now. Being 250 feet away, we feel that it would be a large impact on our property. The next comment in there, that they're contributing to the growth and prosperity of Brookings. In my eyes, the only people that are going to grow and prosper by this move from the existing site would be the applicant themselves. They would be eliminating the 2% sales tax that they have to pay right now to the city of Brookings. And it also might reduce some of the costs they're operating at their existing site moving over to this one. Neither of these are a benefit to the community in whole. My next apologize for this. My next item is they talk about 22nd Avenue. This is the 22nd Avenue is located right over here. Their entrance onto there, they say, and it's going to reduce traffic onto 22nd Avenue. They have, at the present time, off on 32nd Street, an exit off on this property. And as you can tell, it's close to the asphalt plant. And I believe they're utilizing this site today for their operation of the asphalt plant. Going back to the site plan that was presented, you talked about the berms that are there. To me, the berms aren't adequate. They don't provide, as they state, a barrier to the public view. They're 6 foot tall. Myself standing on the road could see over those berms at 6'2". They talk about planting trees on the top of the berms. We want to know what kind of trees they're going to plant on these berms. Are they going to be bare root, where it'll take 10 years for the benefit of the visual barrier to be achieved? Or are they going to plant something that's established, a 6 foot tree? Also, on the site plan, on the west side, it tapers to the south, and that's because of the contour of the road. But also, it does not block the view of anyone traveling north along that road.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Okay. May I ask for an extension for additional time? Let's go, then I'm going to skip, and I'll be submitting this for record, to the actual site where they're at. Right now, this is where it was, and bear with me, the age of this picture is in the 80s, and this is when they first started construction of their plant over there on the existing site. Today, nothing has much changed for everything around it. The city turned this into a park when it used to be a landfill. There's 2 homes that still exist when they started. Mr. Bose built a new home right there, and you have ag land to the south and the interstate to the east. It really has an impact on any future development around this property. We don't want to see the same thing here transferred over to the property we own right now. Finally, I guess I'm
Your
short
time
on
is up.
time.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak against this?
Yes, I would. This is Bob Golden.
The floor is yours.
I just want to add on to what Mike and Ron have already said. The big thing for us is that Bose has a lot of options for where the site they have is great. They have other options. Putting it right across from our property it directly affects us. We can't move our property, and therefore I'm very opposed to this. Won't take up any more of your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience or on the phone that is against this? Please state your full name, and you're limited to 5 minutes.
Brian Gusted, Brookings County Highway Superintendent. As mentioned earlier, my concern is with the drainage on this site. I know that it is not set in stone yet, but I feel it'd be irresponsible for this board to act on this, as we do not have assurances that it will guarantee that public infrastructure will not be affected.
One second. Is there anybody else in the audience that is against this? I will now close the public portion of the hearing. I'll move to the board for additional comments and questions of Mr. Bose.
I hear these comments, and they're valid, and, we certainly don't want to harm our neighbors. We never want to do that. We want to work with them. We worked on that piece of ground for many, many years. So, I don't want to have issues with our neighbors. I guess my question would be, if we were to move it, how far away would we have to move it? I mean, if we're talking a distance, there's in the joint jurisdictional area, there's 1,000 feet, I believe, from an existing structure. And I'm just going by, help me out here if I'm wrong, but 1,000 feet. Now, there is no structures there. There's future planning, and we're sensitive to that. But is 1,000 feet, is that somewhat of a guideline, or am I mistaken there? Or, we want to work with our neighbors. We don't want our neighbors upset with us. And there is going to be lights. There's going to be those deals, and they have a nice area. We want to respect that. So, I guess we do want to be over there. This spot is not set in stone. That's why we're not going to do a bunch of drainage studies and a lot of preliminary work before we get this sorted out. So I just want to point that out. If anybody has any other questions for me.
I guess my question for you is, I understand what you're trying to do by getting it permitted before you go farther into the planning process, but the concerns with the drainage are something that needs to be taken care of, in my opinion, before we can grant you a permit. I don't know what the other members of the board feel on this, but it seems to be a very large opinion of the public in this, and I think he should, you know, you're very concerning to me with your, we'll figure it out after we get the permit comments. And this is something that should be handled before we grant the permit, in my opinion.
Okay?
I would agree with Mr. Ford on that, along with Brian as well, that with the plans being not final and a lot of things up in the air, it'd be tough to grant a permit that we don't know actually what the final plans are.
Well, if we move the site, then it's gonna be a totally different drainage issue, right?
Yes.
So I want to address the Golden family's issue first with, you know, what they are looking for and what's acceptable. This is the first I've heard about this. So, you know, we want to, you know, and if we don't get it granted, we'll come back, we'll make changes. I mean, but I want to get some sort of guideline that would make them happy. You know, we have some room to work with there, but, you know, this is a long-term, our asphalt plant's been 28 years in the same spot. And so this is a long-term deal, and we definitely want to get it right. So, that would be a question I would have, and I don't know if we have any answer for that tonight. We could certainly are open to discussion.
I guess one of the options I would look at, Jason, is that you got some information tonight, obviously, some new information from the Goldens about their concerns. And again, I don't fully understand the 250 feet. I mean, the asphalt plant is off the road quite a ways back in the property. Whether it could be further back, obviously, it's a wetland issue, whether you go back much farther with it in that particular property. There may be some mitigation issues with the berm if it can be decided what type of vegetation would be or trees would be planted on the berm and the height of the berm, and again, those drainage issues. So there's some things there I think you can work out. I'm not opposed to the permitting process, except for the fact that there's not enough detail to answer some of those questions. So it doesn't sound like you're opposed to trying to put all those things together and bring it back. Definition to it. Yeah, kind of an expense, kind of a delay. Hopefully not too long a delay. We've got a couple of years to get it accomplished here, but I'm not sure that the site is totally unusable for this. I think it probably is. And I think there's some mitigation you could probably take care of and bring back a more complete plan, I guess.
Well, as far as drainage, you know, there's plenty of room there. We're 100 feet off the road that we could put a ditch and a swale and a pipe and run it around the corner and it'd be gone. So we're not draining. I mean, the only water we're draining there is what lands there.
Right.
There's nothing that comes, if you look at those floodplain issues, 2/3, that squiggly line up there is where the floodplain, everything to the west is out of the floodplain. So that's the highest ground around there. So any water we're dealing with is what actually lands on that spot. So 100 feet, 100-foot ditch or 50-foot ditch is ample room to deal with some flooding issues or whatever for that particular volume. Okay, so that's by no means do we want to have anybody's trucks drive through water or any community that we put there. That
or your own.
Or our own or anything. That'd be pretty tough advertising. So I understand that. But you know, we certainly don't want to, we are sensitive to our neighbors. I do want to make that point. So take that into consideration.
Okay. What are our options on this, Richard, as far as approving it tonight? Can we table it rather than?
You could table it for the applicant to bring back, you know, to January or February. Postpone action on it for him to do more research on there. You could bring the updated plan changes to us, and we could rehear it at that time.
I think sometimes that's a better process than voting it down and then trying to start all over from scratch again on this. I'd rather postpone it, but the question is does that give you enough time to do this? Sometimes you can't do those types of things in 60 days.
Well, I think, yeah, if we went to February, we could
February?
come up with some, as long as we can deal with our neighbors and get some sort of guideline that makes everybody happy. I mean, we want to be over there, and we want to be in a nice, neat footprint. And this plant's going to be state-of-the-art. They're completely enclosed, so, they're quieter, the environmental, it's going to be top of the line. So we want to get this right.
So my question at this point, if February is adequate for you to do that first meeting in February, so that's giving you 60 days approximately to try and put together a plan and visit with the Goldens. Is that doable? I mean, you always have the option at that point in time that you're not ready and ask for a continuance.
Yeah, I think
at that point.
February would be fine. Yes, we could come back then and hopefully have a plan that fits in with everybody.
All right. At this point, I'd like to make a motion to table until the February meeting of 2021.
Is there a second? Second by motion by Bartley, second by Diedrich. Richard, would you call the vote?
Yes, motion on the table is to, we're going to say postpone instead of table. Postpone for 60 days till the February meeting. Is that okay, Mr. Bartley? Luke, question for you at that time. We would have to, right now, the public hearing is closed, so the public hearing would not be reopened. The applicant would come back with the updated site plan. Should we re-advertise that at that time for the public hearing again on the updated site plan, or go as on with just?
I would this is Luke Muller here. I agree with Richard on the point to postpone as opposed to table, and as far as needing to republish, I would recommend publishing a notice specifically to address any changes to the site plan or specifics that have been added.
Thank you, Luke. All right, so the motion on the table is to postpone until the February 1st, to the meeting in February of 2021, and I will now call the roll. All right, we're really off here. Dietrich.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Okay. Davis. Oh, excuse me. You recused yourself. Nelson.
Aye.
Kleinjohn.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
And Ford.
Aye.
All right, so action is postponed until February 2nd, 2021. And we will re-advertise it in the paper and notify the adjoining landowners of that at that time.
I think, Richard, it might be appropriate to tell those listening and in the audience, even though there will not be a public hearing at the next one, you're still able to submit materials to us written form.
Moving on, agenda item 2020 CU 023. Winter Enterprises by Ryan Winters made an application 2020 CU 023 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for a conditional use for gravel mining. Article 11, Section 11.01A, Agricultural District, Conditional Use Number 4. Sand, gravel, or quarry operation, mineral exploration and extraction. The property is described as the southeast 1/4, except H3 and H4 of Section 18, Township 109 North, Range 49W, Trenton Township, located at 21675 473rd Avenue, Brookings, South Dakota 57006. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vanderwall. Second by Diedrich. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes. Right, 2020 CU 023 for Brookings County zoning ordinance. Article 11, agricultural districts, 11.01, agricultural district, conditional use number 4, sand, gravel, or quarry operation, mineral exploration, and extraction. The original mining and crushing permits for this facility were issued to Bert Osby on June 7th, 2005. Bob Winter took over the operation and was issued a mining permit, conditional use 2015 CU001 on March 5th, 2015. And that permit was good for a 2-year period and expired on March 5th, 2017. Ryan Winter then applied for a conditional use 2017 CU001 to continue the operation as a permanent one. It was approved on January 3rd, 2017 for a 3-year period. It will expire this January 3rd, 2021. And the attached site plan shows a future mining area, and the hours of operation will remain the same, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And the property is located in the southeast 1/4 of Section 18 in Trenton Township, and it borders I-29 on the west, South Dakota Highway 324 in the south, and Brookings County Highway 21, which is also known as 473rd Avenue on the east. And the property is located on the floodplain and in the Zone B of the Aquifer Protection Area. The Winters have construction berms on the west, north, and east sides of the property, and they have seeded them down and planted trees and bushes on top to help control the weeds since they took operation. The weeds control needs to be maintained on the property in the areas where the berms are not constructed, and they have to finish constructing berms on the east side along County Highway 21 and the south along 324. They would like to continue the mining operation on a permanent basis and follow the original reclamation site plan with the original homestead and 4 additional 35-acre lots on the property for a total of 5 lots. Entrance and exit would be located off South Dakota Highway 324, and they did apply for conditional use 2020 CU015 on August 4th of 2020 for a concrete plant, and it was approved by the Board of Adjustment. The applicant advised that they will not be operating and moving a concrete plant to this location, even though it was approved by the board. So the concrete plant will not be located down there. And they also applied for a conditional use CU 2024 for a crushing operation, but that is contingent upon approval of this one. So letters were sent to the adjoining landowners, the Trenton Township Chairman and Clerk, the Brookings County Highway Department, and the South Dakota Department of Transportation. Public notices were published in the Brookings Register on November 17th and 24th, 2020. Here's their conditional use application. This is their site plan and showing the map where the future mining area would be for this go around to the west and south sides of the property where it has been previously mined before. So this is the access off of 324 there. There is a secondary access. This is I believe it's right in this area, but we'll discuss that access during the findings of facts here coming up. So this just shows the beacon map where the property is, the mined area coming out in this area here. This just shows the floodplain area of that, except for this little tiny spot in the northeast corner of the property. There's some showing the existing, looking to the north off of 324 towards the north on the existing driveway. This is looking towards the east there, clear vision that way. This is looking towards the west, towards the Elkton exit I-29 there to the on and off ramps right there. And this is looking north towards the driveway, towards the northwest, where they've got the active mining piles there, where they've mined that. This is looking from Brookings County 21 at the quarter line, looking towards the west, where they have the property line there. The berm is constructed. They have shrubs and bushes on top, seeded down to alfalfa. This is looking south from that same location along Highway 21 there. This is looking farther south from the existing driveway where the building site was. No, excuse me, this is on the west side along the west berm along here that they have built and seeded down. This is looking from the interstate down at the quarter line back towards the southeast where the actively mined areas are. This is looking west from the intersection along 324. And this is looking south along Brookings County 21 where the existing driveway was. This area here is where the berm needs to be completed along in here and the weeds controlled. A little better circumstances than what they have been, and hopefully getting the berm constructed will help in that area. This is looking towards the northwest, excuse me, from the existing driveway on where the residence was on Brookings County 21. That's all that I have at this time.
Can hear them when they come forward. Come forward and sit down, state your name clearly.
I'm Ryan Winter.
Do you have anything to add to Richard's report?
We just, will continue making those berms and keeping weed control and moving our way to the south if possible. There is more gravel we're looking at mining deeper in the water and not continuing south for a little while. But, of course, the deeper you go, the more cost, so. And it was a difficult when the table was so high the last couple of years, so.
Okay. You can go back to your chair for a minute and I'll open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is for this? Seeing and hearing none, is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is against this? Step forward, state your name, and you are limited to 5 minutes.
Kevin Telkamp, and I live and farm directly east of the gravel pit operation. You can see my yard there to the east across the road. I'm here again with my concerns over the weed control. It's been a continuing problem since 2005 when the gravel pit was first opened, and you've put things in place as conditions for the permit, and they haven't been followed, and I don't think the pictures that we saw just a little bit ago are accurate representation. I would like to quickly show you what's actually been going on out there, if I can.
Be right up by your mic. Base of your mic that you're talking into.
Pardon me?
Slide the picture forward on the podium until you see it come into view there.
All right. Just quickly, these are what the berms have looked like. These pictures are just from this current summer. I could show pictures from every year over the past 15 years on these berms. Now, at one time, they started shaping and seeding them down, like was mentioned. The west side along the interstate, the north side, and a little bit on the east. The north and east side, it was mostly what showed from the outside. I would encourage you maybe to walk those berms and see what's going on the inside. The weeds don't care which side of the berm they grow on. The wind still blows them on all the adjoining property. and it isn't just me. Going back a few years, the Russian thistle. This is in my yard. This is along Highway 324, a half a mile away. You can see the fence is full of Russian thistle. This is Deer Creek. This is about a half mile away. They blow until they land in the water and then float down and snag. This is the bridge along 324, a half mile east. I happened to see that weed that was even blocking the sign there. Could show you those all day. Another previous year, it just goes on and on and on. And there's conditions that you put in place, and then it seems like we leave this room, it isn't followed up on, and it's the same thing year after year. I don't know what more I can do except show you what's going on and encourage you to go out there, look, see what's going on, do something for us adjoining landowners to get these berms shaped, seeded down to alfalfa so they can be cut and baled twice a year. Get that row of trees along the top. That's what was agreed to all along, and it just keeps being ignored. So, today I walked out to the mailbox, and there's a couple big old tumbleweeds blowing through my yard. I mean, it goes on, and I'm getting really tired of it and frustrated and would like it taken care of.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Thank you. Part of your responsibility on these conditional use permits is to see that it does not adversely affect the adjoining landowners. And this obviously does. I have to spray extra sometimes in my cropland. Ditch is full. My bin site gets full of weeds. And it could be taken care of if you would just say, you have to get these berms shaped and seeded down along my side, along 324, and get it done. Anything less than that, and I am strongly opposed to a permit to see this keep going on. That's all I have unless somebody has a question for me.
That is it. Is there anybody else in the audience or on the phone that is opposed to this? Seeing none, I will now close the public portion of the hearing. Would the applicant please step forward for additional comments and questions from members of the board?
Have you, sir, been contacted by the Brookings County Weed Board?
Yes, we were. Yes.
And what action did they?
We did go out and spray and mow them down. It was just this year.
And has it been a yearly complaint?
No.
What time of year did you spray the weeds?
They were sprayed in the spring. And then we sprayed them again when we got called in the fall.
How early in the spring did you spray them?
Oh, I did it myself in May.
Those biennial thistles that we saw the pictures of are really, really easy to kill in the spring when they're a flat rosette on the ground. But once that stem starts to grow, you're done for the year. You can't put enough of anything on them to make a difference. So they have to be sprayed before the first week of May. Then they're really easy to kill. It looked like a mess to me in them pictures. You know, if I had neighbors' pastures next to my pastures that looked like that, I wouldn't be very happy.
I would agree.
Only way I can support this tonight is if maybe the Brookings County Weed Inspector comes out there twice a year.
I'd like to meet them out there, if possible, if it's at all possible, and go with them.
Would you be opposed to us requiring it as commercially sprayed instead of you doing it yourself?
Yeah. That's fine.
I have that is addressed currently in the findings of facts previously, and it's in there more stringently this year, so when we get to that.
Was this for a permanent expansion or another 3-year term, or what were we looking at?
If you would like permanent in the findings when we get to that, I put 15 years on there, but you can set the term limit at which, at your discretion, how many years you would like.
Okay.
I mean, we've got other gravel pits in the county that got weed problems too, and I'd like to see, an annual inspection for weeds in some of these gravel pits, but I have a gravel pit that Bose is operating with, and they've left some nasty berms with weeds all over them too that I've tried to spray myself, and just because they're scattering, bull thistles all over the damn country.
I have a question, Richard.
Yes.
In our documents, it showed that this permit expired back in January.
It comes up in January of 2021.
Oh, okay. It showed 2020.
Yep. No, it expires in January of 2021.
Okay.
That was a mistake on my part.
So in our findings of facts, what have you stated as far as the weed control is concerned? Semi-annual inspection and it be commercially applied?
All right, required yards and other open spaces. This is spraying of all noxious weed and other weeds before they go to seed. Monitor weed growth and weed control by spraying, mowing, tilling by the permit holder or designated professional sprayer service. And weed controllers pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 3822.
I'm not familiar with our weed supervisor's role in this. Brian, are you familiar with Misty's requirements for inspections? Okay. I'm not either, so I can't actually tell you that, but I think if it says professionally applied and takes out landowner applied, and it be an application twice a year or inspected twice a year. And again, I'm not a weed expert, so I have to defer to those who are. It's a twice a year inspection, first one, an application first before the first week of May. Should we have that as part of the conditional?
I would say it has to be inspected twice a year, and I wouldn't say sprayed twice a year. I would say sprayed as necessary to control the weeds.
Your best weed control for these would be in the fall of the year.
In
is
the
your
fall
major,
of the year or early in the spring.
early in the spring,
Yep.
or both until you get control of that.
Yep. And there are chemicals that work really, really good that
The problem
you
is,
can almost get by putting them on every other year.
the problem with them chemicals is if they plant alfalfa on the berm,
Oh,
then you're out.
that'd take care of the alfalfa.
But it could be
But then
seeded.
if you had alfalfa on the berm, it wouldn't be a problem.
The alfalfa would not, if you could get the alfalfa seeded down, that would solve 99% of your issues, because after the first year, it would naturally choke out all the thistles.
Yep.
And just the cutting of the alfalfa would take care of the thistles. But
Yeah,
you're still
cutting
gonna
the
have
alfalfa
your,
for hay would, you'd cut the thistle before it flowered and went to seed.
you're still gonna have your borders around the field that are gonna be an issue.
What slope are you putting on your berms? A 4-to-1 slope, 3-to-1?
Yeah, I think they're 4-to-1.
I have that stated in the findings. I can go over theirs if you want, instead of doing it piecemeal by piecemeal. would like to go over the findings at this time.
Richard, why don't you read the findings of the facts and we can adjust from there?
All right, application for the conditional use permit having been filed with the Brookings County Zoning Commission, acting as a Board of Adjustment, a copy of the application being attached here too. Such application being made by Winter Enterprises by Ryan Winter regarding the following real property: the southeast 1/4, except H3 and H4 of Section 18, Township 109 North, Range 49 West, Trenton Township. Located at 47280 South Dakota Highway 324, Brookings, South Dakota. After due notice, a public hearing having been held on the application on this first day of December 2020. Number one, the Brookings County Zoning Commission hereby finds that it is empowered to grant such a conditional use permit following under the sections of the Brookings County Zoning Ordinance. Article 11, Section 11.01A, Agricultural District, Conditional Use Permit Number 4. Further finding that the granting of the conditional use will not adversely affect the public interest. Number two, the Brookings County Zoning Commission further finds and certifies that the following specific rules governing the conditional use have been complied with. None stated. Number three, the Brookings County Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finds that satisfactory provisions and agreements have been made concerning the following where applicable. A, entrance and exits. Truck entrance and exits will be off South Dakota Highway 324 only. No truck entrance or exit will be off South Dakota or off Brookings County Highway 21. B, off-street parking loading areas. No on-street parking. No parking of equipment or storage of fuel or oil in the mining area. Separate parking lot and storage area for fuel, oil, and equipment with containment to be 300 foot away from the mined or actively mined areas. C, utilities, refuge, and service areas. Dumpster service is required. D, screening and buffering. Maintain outside perimeter berms as per site plan with a 4-to-1 slope. Top of the berm being 10 feet wide in width and trees planted on the top of the berm, working with the Brookings County Conservation District. And completion of berms on the east and south sides of the property as soon as construction allows in 2021. C, signs. 32 square foot sign allowed and any required safety signs. F, required yards and other open spaces. Spraying of all noxious and other weeds before they go to seed. Monitor weed growth and weed control by spraying, mowing, or tilling by the permit holder or designated professional sprayer service. And weed control pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 3822. You want me to add in there? Spray twice a year. And
Inspected twice a year,
Inspect
sprayed
twice.
as needed.
Okay.
Sprayed or mowed.
Well, we got that up here already as spraying, mowing, or tilling.
Do we need to say inspected by who?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Monitor, expect 2 times a year for weed growth and control by the Brookings County Weed Supervisor. G, general compatibility. Comprehensive plan is meant for the agricultural areas. H, roads providing access to the property are adequate for transportation demands on the proposed conditional use. This one that is a new one here, is letter H. Driveway permit from the Brookings County Highway Department for widening of the existing driveway on Brookings County Highway 21 with a county-approved culvert extension. A road agreement is not required as an entrance and exit will be off South Dakota 324. There is a plastic drainage culvert that is installed on the end of the existing culvert out there, and that is not a highway county-approved driveway or driveway extension. So you will need to get a permit from the highway department and an approved culvert or culvert extension to widen that driveway from them. Right, that will be the plastic will need to be removed. And any required notifications, law enforcement or fire departments, notifications of Brookings County 911 and the Brookings County Emergency Management Office of any hazardous materials or chemical spills. J, any required inspections, any inspections required for state permits. And number 4, the Brookings County Board of Adjustment further determines and conditions conditional use upon the following special conditions or safeguards. A, follow the Brookings County's ordinance, Chapter 4.06, Aquifer Protection Performance Standards, in Section 4.0606. B, fuel storage with containment to be 300 foot away from any mined or actively mined areas. C, septic system must be approved by the South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Whoop. Being located in the floodplain and the Zone B of the Aquifer Protection Map. D, dust control such as magnesium chloride or like products on the driveway, entrance, exit, and loading areas. Should be as required. Dust control when processing, crushing, and screening gravel. Dust to dawn light on the scale house. Hours in operation are 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. H, entrance gates padlocked. I, lake size no more than 50 acres. K, clean clay may be hauled in for fill material only. No other types of fill material may be hauled in for disposal. L, landscape aggregate may be hauled back to the site for sale on an as-needed basis. M, South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources mining permit required and on copy on file with the Brookings County Development Office. N, reclamation plan is 4 new 35-acre residential lots, an original building site for 5 residential lots total. In compliance with the county zoning regulations, subdividing shall be part of the reclamation process. And I don't know if this needs to be addressed anymore or not. I have not heard from the adjoining landowner, but reconstruction of the waterway in the northeast corner that was mined out back to the original elevation or slightly lower, so it does not restrict the water flow from the adjoining property. Has that been done, Mr. Winters?
Yeah, I thought it was done.
That's
so
done?
I-
Okay. Yep, I just left that in there just for we can remove that. And then letter O, this is where you can decide the terms. Conditional use will be valid for 15 years and it will expire May 5th, 2036, or when the mineral resource gravel is depleted. So
I don't feel comfortable with 15 years, just based on the fact that they brought it forth in a weed control issue in August, and on a different matter, but it was the same property. And here we are in December, and nothing was done between August and December. So I say 1 year, get the weeds cleaned up, or we'll be done with it. I don't know what anybody else thinks.
I would agree. Let's give them a 1 year and see how the weed control is, and then move forward.
I guess my only concern is as you just stated, it could take 2 years to control the weeds. 1 year will do it. Okay.
1 year will show effort.
And I'd like the zoning board or the zoning administration to contact the weed supervisor and notify her that that's what's in the permit. So she doesn't wait for a complaint from the public.
We can ask her, but I have no control over the weed supervisor. But I've got no
Generally, it's
problem
done on a
asking her.
complaint basis, and I don't know if Mr. Telkamp has called the weed supervisor to complain at all.
Have you talked to Misty Mosier? Kevin? Have you talked to Misty Mosier?
I called her last year, after the weeds had all gone to seed. I try to stay out of it, hoping it'll be taken care of, which is ridiculous, because it never gets taken care of. So I called her, she went out there, and about a week later, somebody mowed the weeds. But the problem is, it's always reactive, not proactive. The thistles have all seeded out and blown away, and then they clip off the top half of the dead stem and dry it up thistle, and say, well, the problem's been taken care of. And it does no good, and they've just created a bigger problem for the following year. And so I did call her once last summer, it was after it's too late, and I would also like to disagree with the fact that it's been sprayed. You can look at those pictures. I've been farming for 50 years and spraying my own crops and CRP and pastures. Those weeds hadn't been sprayed.
I would encourage you to call Misty in the spring and ask her to make sure she follows up with our requirement.
I have no authority.
No,
You people have the authority to enforce what's
I
supposed
under-
to be done.
I
If
understand
you-
that. All I'm saying is that you can complain, and then
If
she
you-
has the authority to act on
Yes.
your complaint.
If you file a complaint, she has to go out and inspect.
Well, and I want to make one thing clear. I'm not trying to pick a fight with Mr. Winters. I wish we were on good terms, and the berms have been seeded down, the trees have been planted, and we never would be dealing with this year after year. I don't want to pick a fight with him. I just want the problem taken care of. And I shouldn't have to babysit. It should be between you granting the conditional use permit and Mr. Winters to follow what is required of him. I will call her, but, you know, it's been 15 years of this. It appears isn't doing much good. We aren't gaining on the problem.
We do have a codified law that they do have to enforce, and they could actually go out and do that.
It has not just weed law.
Mr. Telkamp, could you come up and speak into a mic on that, with this conversation,
Yeah.
please?
Who enforces that, Richard?
That would be Misty. That is not our, it'd be up to Misty and what her powers is with
All
the
right, Missy
codified
has
law.
the powers to cite Mr. Winter for.
Pardon me?
Misty has the power to cite Mr. Winters for not taking care of his weeds, so. But
Well-
generally speaking, sometimes it's a complaint basis, and then she goes out, and if it's a problem, she can cite him.
But when it's after the fact and it does no good,
I would think a hefty fine might do a good.
It wasn't Misty, it was one of her employees. I had a pasture, he was in my yard the 4th of May, he was in my yard the 13th of May, and he was in my yard the 17th of May. And I was doing the best I could to wait to spray because there was beans planted up already this year. And I can't believe that somebody wouldn't follow up. Yeah, he was at my place 3 times in 2 weeks, wanting to know when I was gonna get it done. Basically followed me out of the yard over there to spray them.
well, that's good to hear. Apparently in the places, the system works, but in some places, apparently it doesn't. I would like to see somebody follow up that well.
I'd encourage you to have a conversation with Misty. As a concerned citizen, call her, set up an appointment time, have a conversation with her, show her your pictures, and she will take action.
She's probably the best weed supervisor we've had in Brookings County in a long, long time. She's proactive, she follows up on the complaints.
Well, and I will admit, she got called late to the party last summer, you know. It was too late. I'm glad to hear that.
You could call her tomorrow.
She doesn't
Sure.
back down from
Take your
somebody
call.
saying, I can't spray them, I'm not gonna spray them. She does her job. I'm on the township board, and when I turn in somebody, she goes out there and takes care of it. And I got turned in myself for a small patch of thistles, and she followed up within 4 days after she first contacted me.
You know, we've all got weeds. That's part of the way it is. I've had neighbors say, hey, did you know there's some weeds started up in that fence line? I go out there and take care of them. I appreciate it. Nobody's perfect. But if a farmer had a pasture or a field like this, it would be taken care of. If you had CRP like this, you'd never get the payment. The government would issue it. But it seems like, in the past anyway, when it comes to gravel pits, everybody has been turning a blind eye. I've been up before this zoning board, I don't know how many times over the past 15 years, and look where we're at.
The enforcement arm, I understand the enforcement arm is in Misty's office, not in the planning and zoning board. We wrote the rules, she's got the enforcement issues.
Well,
So you just need to give her a call. She's great to sit down and visit with.
I will talk to her.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get this under control. That's all I'm asking for. This gravel pit has affected the surrounding area. I've been pretty good about the dust, the extra traffic and all that. I've never said anything about that. But this weed deal is
We'll
just
see what
out
we
of
can
hand.
do on that. We need to get
Thank
back on task here with the findings of the facts.
Thank you.
Does that look good?
Everything look good? Is that it then? Findings of facts? Wait.
Yep.
Well then, Richard, would you call the vote?
Erickson,
Passing it.
Erickson, call the vote.
Nay.
Dietrich,
Nay.
Bartley,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Kleinjohn,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Just one real quick question, Richard. This is for 1 year.
this is for 1 year.
Aye.
Ford,
Aye.
motion passes.
Moving on, agenda item 2020. Excuse me. Moving on, agenda item 2020 CU 024, Winter Enterprises by Ryan Winter has made application 2020 CU 024 to the Brookings County Board of Adjustment for conditional use, Article 11, Section 11.01A Agricultural District, conditional use, number 5A, rock crushers. This property is described as the southeast 1/4, excluding H3 and H4 of Section 18, Township 109 North, Range 49W, Trenton Township, located at 21675 473rd Avenue, Brookings, South Dakota 57006. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Davis,
Second.
second by Vanderwall. Richard, would you read the staff report?
Yes, 1 second. Yes, 2020 CU 024. Ryan Winter has applied for zoning ordinance Article 11, Section 11.01 Agricultural District for conditional use number 5 for a rock crusher to process the gravel that is mined in site. The original mining and crushing permits were issued to Butch Osby in June 7th in 2005. Robert Winter took over the operation and was issued a crushing permit on or conditional use 2015-002 on March 5th, 2015 for a 2-year period and expired on March 5th, 2017. Ryan Winter applied for the conditional use for crushing as a permanent operation. In conditional use 2017 CU 002 was approved on January 3rd, 2017 for a 3-year period and expires on January 3rd, 2021. The property is located in the southeast quarter of Section 18 in Trenton Township, borders I-29 on the west and 324 on the south. And it was approved on, I got off the line here, in Brookings County Highway Department, Highway 21 on the east. And the property is in the floodplain. They'd like to continue the crushing operation, make that for 1 year to process gravel mined on site, and the hours would be from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Saturday. The application was just approved for 1 year for the mining permit, and the applicant was advised he will not be bringing the concrete plant to the location as was approved in August. Letters were sent to the adjoining landowners, the Trenton Township Chairman and Clerk, Brookings County Highway Department, and the South Dakota Department of Transportation. And public notices were published in the Brookings Register on November 17th and 24th. Here's our conditional use application. And again, just the proposed site area. Just like before, the floodplain map. The beacon map here just showing the area. And again, just the picture showing the entrance going into the plant, looking towards the east on 324 and to the west towards the interstate and back towards down the mining area and crushing areas. This is the north property line, and this is the east property line looking towards the south, and in the west property line by the interstate and looking back towards the mining and crushing area. It's just from the existing driveway on Brookings County 21 looking south and looking back up towards the northwest there. And that's all that I have.
The applicant would come forward, state your full name clearly, and do you have anything to add to Richard's report?
No, I'm Ryan Winter. It'd just be for the processing of the material.
Okay, thank you. I now open the public portion of the hearing. Is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that's for this? Seeing none, is there anybody in the audience or on the phone that is against this? Mr. Telkamp.
Kevin Telkamp, and I would just state my same concerns as we had with the previous one. I would ask for a clarification, though, on those dates. Is something printed wrong? It showed that the conditional use permit was from January 1st, 2017.
That was my error on there. It was expired in 21, 18, 19, and 2021. It expired.
3 years would be 20, though, from January 2017.
The first one was 15, so it'd be
16 and 17, then 18, 19, and 20. So it actually was approved on the 18th is where it was, January of 18. You've got 18, 19, and 20 on there.
So it expired in 20, January of 2020.
I would have to go back and look on that, but if it is, it'd be our mistake that we let that lapse for 1 year.
Okay, I just want clarification. Yep. If it had been operated without a permit for a year.
So it would have been just this past year.
Yeah, from January, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Is there any additional comments or questions from members of the board?
So is this for just a 1 year?
This is just for 1 year, just like the gravel one. We would not make this a 5-year one. It would make it match the mining one.
Okay, thank you.
Any other additional comments or questions from members of the board? Seeing none, Richard, would you call a vote?
We'll go over the findings first.
Oh yeah, probably should do that, huh?
I'll just read the highlighted areas in the front page and application for conditional use permit having to file with the Brookings County Zoning Office, acting as a board of adjustment. A copy of the application being attached here too by Winter Enterprises by Ryan Winter regarding the following real property. The southeast 1/4, except H3 and H4 of section 18, Township 109 North, Range 49 West, Trenton Township, located at 47280 South Dakota Highway 324. After due notice of public hearing have been held on the application on the first day of December 2020. The zoning Brookings County Board of Adjustment hereby finding that it is empowered to grant such a conditional use under such sections of the zoning ordinance, Article 11, Section 11.01, A, Agricultural District, conditional use number 5A, and further finding that granting of the conditional use will not adversely affect the public interest. The Brookings County Zoning Commission further findings and conditions as following rules governing the conditional use requests that have been complied with, none stated. Number 3, Brookings County Board of Adjustment further finds that satisfactory provisions and arrangements have been made concerning the following where applicable. A, entrance and exits. Entrance and exits will be off South Dakota Highway 324. Truck entrance and exit will be off 324 only. No truck exit or exit off Brookings County Highway 21, which is 473rd Avenue. B, off-street parking and loading areas. No on-street parking, no parking of equipment or storage of fuel or oil in the mining area. Separate parking lot and storage area for fuel, oil, and equipment with containment to be 300 foot away from the actively mined or crushing areas. Utilities or refuge, dumpster service for garbage disposal. Screening and buffering. We can maintain the 10-foot berm as required for the site plan, and I can update these with the ones we just did from the other conditional use. So that would be matched on there. Signs, if any, proposed exterior lighting with reference to glare, traffic safety. 32 square foot sign allowed, and any required safety signs. I would update this one also to reflect the same as the mining one. G, general compatibility with adjacent properties and other property in the district. Comprehensive plan met for the agricultural district. H, road agreement is not required as the entrance and exit will be off South Dakota Highway 324. I, notification of Brookings County 911 and Brookings County Emergency Management of any hazardous materials or chemical spills. I, any required inspections, any safety inspections required for state permits. And number 4, A, follow the Brookings County Ordinance, Chapter 4.06, Aquifer Protection Performance Standards, and Section 4.0606. Fuel containment to be 300 foot away from any actively mined or crushing areas. Septic system would be approved for South Dakota Department of Environment and Natural Resources for being in the zone floodplain and Zone B of the aquifers material map. Dust control, magnesium chloride or like products on the driveway, entrance, and loading areas. Dust control and processing, screening or processing. Dust to dawn light on the scale house. Hours of operation be 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Lakeside is no more than 50 acres. Clean fill may be hauled in as fill material only. No other type of fill material may be hauled in for disposal. Landscape aggregate may be hauled back to the site on an as-needed basis. Mining permit required, mining and or crushing permit required in the office. Reclamation plan is the same for 34 new 35-acre residential lots in the original site for 5 residential lots total in compliance. get that when I get down here. Does not restrict, that we can take. That was approved. Conditional use 2023, and conditional use will be valid for 1 year. Or when the mining resource is depleted. Brookings County Zoning Commission by at least 2/3 vote of its full membership above the grant petitioner for a conditional use permit for the above described real property as follows. Conditional use number 5A, rock crusher to process mined gravel. This conditional use is specifically conditioned upon requirements in 3 and 4 above and upon compliance with all it's been a long night, applicable provisions of the Brookings County zoning ordinance. Brookings County zoning director, if is approved, is authorized to issue any required building permits, construction consistent with the requirements of this conditional use.
Mr. Telkamp?
This is not used within 3 years of the date granted. It shall be invalidated this first day of December 2020. And Mr. Telkamp, the conditional, Mr. Hill?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to let everyone know the conditional use permit issued in 2017 was issued for 4 years. So that makes 2021. So Mr. Hagen was correct when he said that. I don't know what was published, but I can tell you I got the conditional use permit in front of me right now, the findings of facts. There's a 4-year period, signed January 3, 2017 by Jeff Robbins.
Yes, thank you for that correction. My error on the staff report. That's anything else on there? I'll update those two.
Anything else to add?
I'll update those 2 sections so they're the same on both conditional uses for the mining and the weed control and the berms.
Just a question on the conditional use permit for the, to put in a cement plant that he's not going to do. Is there any, I mean, he's saying he's not going to do it, but he could still do it. Because we've got
If he decides to, yes, but he has told us no, and he has 3 years to do that.
Could we ask for a revocation or a reversal of that conditional use? Him to apply, to vacate that conditional use? Or
He
is it
would
not
have to-
necessary?
I wouldn't think it would be necessary at this time. We could have asked for a email or a written letter to say he would like to revoke that conditional use permit that was for the cement plant that was issued on, that he is not going to use that,
I don't know if it's a big deal or not. But
you know.
What about if they do a huge reclamation project on the interstate? You know, replace a couple miles or something, and that would be a handy spot, you know, for whoever got the contract.
Well, then the applicant or their contractor would have to apply for a temporary concrete plant for that.
Okay.
But at this time, I took the applicant for his word that he is not going to be pursuing that anymore because they have a plant here in Brookings is where that got built. So.
Seeing nothing else, Richard, would you call a vote?
Bartley. Davis.
Aye.
Klein John.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Dietrich.
Nay.
Ford.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Agenda item 14, department reports.
Yes, sir. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Nelson for his 23 years of service. We've been through quite a bit together between UFOs and children's playhouses and little cedar trees and you name it, we went through it. And thank you, Mr. Nelson, for all you've done and the good times we've had. And Mr. Terrell Spence has resigned from the board immediately effective yesterday, November 30th. So there's an opening in his spot. Mr. Davis has resigned as of the end of this month, December 31st. So there'll be an opening in his spot. COVID-19 is still running rampant in Brookings County. It's obviously targeting the older people, but there's a lot of people in the 40s, 50s, and 60s range getting it. So just be careful. Winter driving, we recommend that you start putting your shovels and renter survival kit stuff inside your vehicle because, believe it or not, sooner or later we're going to get white stuff on the ground that's not going to melt. And the 2021 budget was passed. You guys will still get paid $50 a meeting next year with your mileage. And that's all I got. And Merry Christmas, and hopefully you had a Happy New Year. I mean, a good Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate on December 25th. And you got Mr. Mueller on the phone. You might want to. I'm sure he's got something to say.
Luke, do you got anything?
You'll want to make a note. I have nothing to add.
That's a first.
You better shut off the meeting soon.
Is there any need for an executive session?
No.
What date does the first Tuesday of January fall on? Do we have any issues with that this year or not?
No, it should be what, January
Didn't
5th,
even look.
4th?
January 5th, so we've got no issue with it.
Next month, we nominate and elect officers again.
Yes.
We usually did that with a nominating committee. Is there anybody that would like to be on that committee?
Don't you all raise your hand at the same time.
If you're not on the committee, are you voluntold to be chair?
I can appoint a committee.
What the committee does is they just talk to people and see who's interested in being. You typically don't knock the chair out, but you talk to like the vice chair to see if he wants to run again. And if they want to run again, that's easy. And if they don't want to run again, then you have to find someone to run in their place. That's what the committee does. Just have to appoint two people. And
Seeing
move
there's
on.
no volunteers, I'll appoint Mr. Vanderwall and Mr. Diedrich to nomination committee.
I appreciate you looking at me in the face when you say that too.
Nothing to it there, Spencer.
Thanks, Chad.
Well, if that's it, meeting adjourned. Motion by Bartley,
Second.
Aye.
Aye.